The young lives lost are more than just names on a police report. They are also part of a tragic and growing list of Seattle teens killed.
Violence is at an all-time high, and last year in Seattle, 16 young people were victims of shootings.
We see a long history of what happens when we don't have these type of organizations, this type of presence in the community, when we don't have mentors that are available to pour into young people, when we don't have people that show up and are consistent and committed. We see the results of that. We see what happens when communities fragmented, and someone has to be a presence. Someone has to be strategically organizing to bring community together and to fight as a collective, for our values and for doing the right thing.
My husband and I were youth pastors, and we focused on youth mentorship. Some kids have a 2-mile radius between their home and school, and that's all the square footage they cover. And so being able to get them out of the neighborhood and into the woods, or to see new sights, to broaden their horizons and open their imaginations back up, that's a key part to our strategy. Key part to helping kids recognize that they're still kids and that they're here to have fun.
Our mentorship is kind of the heart of what we do. We believe that all good work with young people starts with belonging. And so our work kind of emanates from that relationship and being able to support them in all of the obstacles and challenges we know that they go through on a day-to-day basis. So,
how I would describe what Choose 180 does is we shift narratives so young people are defined by their possibility, not the worst thing that they've done in a moment of their life. When a young person enters our program, the first thing that we do is we try to understand, how is this young person coming to us? We try to prioritize the relationship before the programming, because the reality of it is a young person can't focus on conflict resolution if they're also trying to worry about where they're gonna lay their head at that night, or taking care of little sister. And so when a young person enters into our program, we center the person first, and we start to build the relationship first, and we start to understand all aspects of this young person, not only the thing that they're coming to us for.
My name is Emilio. Early days at Urban Family looked like for me was connecting with my mentor a lot. He always came to my house, my school, always checking in with me physically and over the phone, and just the relentless engagement and the community that they provided for me was such a safe space that is one of the best feelings. I didn't grow up having such a support system, so having it now is, I've gotten more used to it, but in the early days it was foreign to me, so I didn't really expect them to show up how they did, and they did a phenomenal job at it. And I'm so thankful for the opportunity that they give out.
The first thing I would say is Freedom Project is an organization that started inside of a prison here in Washington State. And it was a nonviolent communication program, but it's blossomed into the community-based organization we are today. And so when we talk about relational aspect, wraparound services, like when you look at the comprehensive gang model, all the different partners at the table coming together to support the young people, I think is very, very important. But CCYJ being the convener of such, is definitely also important when you look at just being able to facilitate the collaboration.
There's so much, from legislation to CVI work to trainings to this. I mean, literally, it's like a one-stop shop, and I really do think it is the foundation of a lot of the work that we do. A lot of folks try to do one of those things well, and that's where it starts to get messy, and CCYJ doesn't. They're very intentional with the way that they are aligning and keeping folks accountable and informed. And that's something our community needs right now. They need a stabilizer, and CCYJ is that. They're a stabilizer for our community.
Thank you guys, appreciate it. Good morning, Chair Cleveland and members of the committee. My name is William Hairston, and I'm testifying this morning on behalf of the Center for Children and Youth Justice and Strong.
What the system fails to do is change. The system fails youth by not shifting to how those needs emerge and change over time, but not organizations and community. They are close to the youth. They're working with kids from early ages, and they understand how their needs are evolving or change. But the system is not designed to do that. And that's what we do. That's the work of CCYJ, is to adjust the system to be able to better meet the needs of kids and families. Youth victims of gun violence is starting to reduce for the first time since 2019, after almost doubling in 2024. This is when investments matter, and it's usually when investments start to retract. But what gives me hope is organizations like Urban Family and Freedom Project and Choose 180, because their work, they know, makes a difference in the life of kids. It creates new futures for them. It keeps them safer. It makes our communities safer. This is the time for the investment, setting the standard that no youth die of gun violence in our county, that be the standard that we have. And that's why investments now in this work must continue, not stop, as improvements are made, because we've got a new standard. As we celebrate our 20th anniversary, there's one thing that you can count on for certain, is CCYJ will be there tomorrow. We will show up alongside all of our partners and work together to create new futures for our kids and families in Washington State.